So I'd like to share the case with you of a 50-something-year-old gentleman with a PK done about 20 years back that ultimately failed because of endothelial dysfunction. The original PK was quite small, 7 millimeters, like they used to do them back in the day, and the indication is uncertain, something related to trauma, something monocular anyway. So what we're doing here, we're stripping inside the graft-host junction with an AC maintainer connected to a 10 ml syringe that is handled by our resident. We perform the inferior iridectomy with a vitrector, and then we proceed to inject the graft. For logistical reasons that are beyond the scope of this video, the donor age is very small. It's like 40 years old, and the chamber is deep, and the graft is 7 millimeters because of the old PK. So unfolding a DMEK graft in a very deep chamber of a young donor of 7 millimeters is extremely challenging. So the patient is also vitrectomized, and this proves to be very challenging. So we're very aware that the taps on the cornea are to no effect, but we do still try to find an edge. So we're not trying to unfold the graft by these maneuvers, but we're actually trying to find an edge. So we're decompressing the globe quite significantly, using a finger to try to shallow the AC and bring the iris up. And then we try to find an edge. This goes on for quite some time until we find a place to inject an air bubble inside the roll to get the graft to present itself and to show its orientation. At the moment you can see how tightly scrolled the young donors are and how difficult they are to manipulate in a deep anterior chamber. So we're using circular aqueous vortices to try to get the graft to show an edge. And we now are successful. We confirm this by an anterior chamber OCT that is not shown in the video. So now the graft is in an adequate position with the double roll configuration. So our plan now is to inject a bubble inside the roll, at least to secure the graft in this orientation. So this is what we're doing through the main wound, going inside the rolls and injecting bubbles that are big enough. We were trying to inject one bubble, but sometimes more do come out. We're enlarging one main bubble that is in contact with the graft and the old PK. And now the graft is handled with coaxial forceps and centered with the bubble still on top. And now what we're trying to do is use the double bubble technique, which implies injecting bubbles underneath the graft to lift the graft up, capture the graft in between the bubbles, and then aspirate the bubble on top and enlarge the bubbles beneath the graft. But this doesn't work because the graft is very small and the chamber is deep, and also the bubble on top may be a bit too big. So we need an innovative approach. And what we do is we use our resident, our assistant, to help us perform a three-handed maneuver. So our left hand grabs the graft with the coaxial forceps. Our right hand holds the cannula, while the resident does the injecting of a bubble beneath, which is the one shown to the left, and also now aspirates the bubble that slipped off from the graft. So now the bubble to the right is the one that used to be on top and now is no more, and the one that is still present is beneath the graft, which can now be easily inflated and the graft tamponaded. Thanks for watching.